enough that the government takes notice, or are we going to see this rammed down our throat just like we did, just like we saw the bailouts, which was what? You saw well over 90% of all the polls showed the people were against it. We got it rammed down our throat like the puppets that we are.
So far, it looks like they're going to try to ram it down our throat, but given some of these town hall meetings, the way they're going, I really have very little faith in the American public. They've let me down
every time,
yeah. But I mean, I guess there's always hope.
Well, 1207, it's stalled now. I think it passed Congress. We're waiting in the Senate. Do you think these town halls, these kind of protests, might get that jump started? I mean, we've talked about my faith in that's weak. Bob Chapman seems to think that it might work.
Most people aren't even aware of 1207. The really only thing that's pulled people into this is, of course, the health care. A little bit the bailouts. Of course, overwhelming majority of American citizens calling into Congress, all different areas, of the government saying, we don't want this, and yet, of course, they just did it anyway.
Well, the ridiculous cash for clunkers program, that there's been all kind of studies that's come out. It takes more fossil fuels to destroy the car that was turned in that will be saved with the new car that was bought. And then, when people get a new car and it gets better gas mileage than the old car, they tend to drive it more. So you've got that whole cash for clunkers program, socialism in action. And I guess the car dealers are making money, and if they're making money, they're happy. But the rest of us, we're on the hook for it, and they fund it $2 billion more each week. The federal government can't manage anything, and they're putting stock in the fact that they can pump up and inflate the bubble for the car dealers again. It's just amazing. Again, if you'd like to call in, the phone number is 1-866-986-6397, and
yes, I mean the $4,500 for an old car, and yet on my Facebook here, John Field, the Feel Good Foundation, for September 11th first responders, he put up a post. He said, "Isn't it amazing that $2 billion more for cash for clunkers is approved? $4,500 for drivers who turn in their clunkers. Yet the 9/11, September 11th, first responders can't get a dime out of our federal government. Here, our heroes came to our aid on September 11th without, any hesitation whatsoever. We're now sick and dying by the hundreds from their exposure to chemicals and all these toxins at ground zero. We're lied to by the FDA. The air is safe to breathe, yet they're dying by the hundreds. Right now, folks, FDNY hero John McNamara is dying, and he's expected to die at any moment. John put this out because actually what Mr. McNamara is going through, and he was there, he came to our aid on September 11th, yet the government passes out trillions to big banks so they can just put it into equities, into the financial markets to speculate. So, these CEOs can continue to get $300 million bonuses, buy vacation homes in every corner of the earth. Yet our heroes are just tossed aside like a piece of garbage.
Yes, what has happened with the 9/11 first responders should speak deeply. If you don't know the character of the federal government of the United States by now, this would be one that should really give you a good look into the real character behind our government. And the Feel Good Foundation is spelled F-E-A-L.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken. And
it's named after its founder, John Field, again, F-E-A-L, who was a first responder, had his foot crushed by a beam at ground zero.
You can go to that website and get a lot of information. Plus, they put out their own documentary film, and then the documentary film Truth Rising goes into a lot of this information that, once again, the mainstream corporate-owned press does not report on at all. It's a national tragedy, and they're dying all the time. And this has been going on since 2001.
Well, we've had Charlie Giles, first responder, on our broadcast many times.
He's twice at least.
Takes 26 medications every day. He's on a breathing machine. He's had several surgeries. He lost his house because of this. He's always in need of donations just to feed his family. I mean, it's disgusting.
Yeah, and like you say, the federal government not only has money for Cash for Clunker program, but they still, bankrupt as they are, go around the world doling out the money by the trillions. We reported $100 billion loan to
the
IMF, and then they were loaning $30 billion to Mexico. We're on the hook for it. I mean, it is so amazing what is going on in this country, and I hope that the American people are rising up. Show up at the town hall meeting with Virginia Fox and any of the rest. There's Patrick McHenry's got one coming up Monday in Mooresville, Tuesday, and I believe it's in Hickory. We may go to that one with a friend of ours down there, but we're also, since we've got a few minutes left before we go off the air, next month we're going to start our series. We're not exactly sure how long it's going to last, probably 4 to 6 weeks, on the Constitution. We're going to go back all the way to the presidency of FDR. We're going to play his inaugural speech. We've got a guest that's going to be on, Dr. Gene Schroeder, wrote a book, Constitution, Fact or Fiction. We're going to have him on as a guest. Judge Napolitano is supposed to be on as a guest, speaking to the fact whether our Constitution is actually in suspension. I know this may come to shock to anyone that's never heard this information. I was surprised myself, but I think that you will find this very interesting. And again, we're not telling you what to think. I don't care what you think, but I'm giving you the information. You can look it up for yourself and do your own research and then draw your own opinion. But we also have an audio tape we're going to play of John McCain in 1993 saying the Constitution was in suspension, and we think that it'll be a good series. We're also going to burn down all of the interviews onto a DVD and pass that out, make that available to you. Also, we have a DVD on the War Powers Act of March 9, 1933. If you'd like a copy, you can email us on air at therealnewsradio.com. And Brian, last week we didn't have a lot of the video up from our Washington trip, but I believe Jim has got a lot of that up now. You can go to the website, and the interview for Virginia Fox is there.
Virginia Fox and the staff.
Virginia Fox and the staff. So some of our trip there, not all of it. There'll be some others coming available later, but the website is therealnewsradio.com. In light of the health care that they're trying to pass, where, as we stated with Bob Chapman, I believe, Brian, it is in the health care considered to be about 1/6 of the U.S. economy. We're going to turn this over to the federal government, let them manage it.
It's a staggering amount of money. And once the federal government gets it, I mean, who's going to want to be self-insured anymore when the government's version is practically free? It's going to put all the insurers out of business. So, I mean, once they're out of business, folks, all that alternatives to health care are gone. There's only one left in town, that's government.
And once the government gets a hold of it, any way to ever get it back, it'd be an uphill fight to ever take it back away from the federal government. I mean, we are marching into socialism at such a rapid pace, it just boggles the mind. And we're talking about a government that we're going to trust with our health care. And before we can trust it with our health care, I've got several things I would ask everyone to look into. The Gulf of Tonkin incident, the USS Liberty incident, the 1952 overthrow of Mossadegh, the JFK assassination, the MK Ultra mind control experiments. These are all done by the federal government. Rex 84, the Oklahoma City bombings, Waco, the 1993 World Trade Center bombings, Ruby Ridge, Bill Cooper's murder, 1976 flu vaccine debacle. Any you'd like to add, Brian? I mean, there's so many. If you look into what the government has done in these situations, and then you're saying you're going to turn your health care over to them, it should scare most everyone.
Northwood's documents.
Oh, that Northwood documents, RFK assassination, the anthrax murders of 2001. I mean, we could just go on and on. 9/11, WMDs being lied into Iraq,
USS Maine getting us into the Spanish-American War,
fluoride deception. I mean, we could just go on and on. The War Powers Act of 1933 that we're going to be going into in September. Next week, our guest is going to be Virginia Fox. She will be on in the first hour, and we're going to be talking about some of these same issues with her, the Obama health care.
And again, folks, Virginia Fox tonight at 7 p.m. at Ryan Aerodome near Love Valley. And folks, this is your opportunity to voice yourself. Meet with your congressional representative. Let her know how you feel. Give her your support, because without it, she really can't do much for you in Washington.
All right, until next week, this is Farron and Brian, Jim, and we got Jeff on the board today saying, God help us all.